I want my HTV. I want it now, and I want it live. Yay! I want my HTV. I want it now, and I want it live. All right, so that's my little introduction. Forgive me. So first, I would like to get myself situated. I will be watching my chat, but I will address my chat room after the video. If anybody decides to join me. First, I would like to start off by saying a prayer. Dear Heavenly ABBA, YHVH, I lift myself and this video, all of my viewers, up to you. Pray that you shine your face to them, provide for them, and I cast down any darkness and spiritual attacks in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Heavenly ABBA, YHVH, thank you for calling me forward to do my testimony, and I ask that you please speak through me while doing this video. In Yeshua HaMashiach's name, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Selah. I will be showing everyone pictures throughout this video. And if you join me late, I'm going to ask that you rewind the video to the beginning so I don't have to repeat myself. I've been trying to give my testimony, and this is part 6 of my testimony. I've been talking a lot about deep underground military bases, DUMBs, and about being an ex-super soldier. And I still have a lot more stories to share with you on that. But I wanted to take a time out from talking about MK Ultra and super soldiers, and I wanted to turn my focus on the calling YHVH, our one true living God and creator, put on my life. This is my most favorite topic to talk about is Yeshua. He's my golden bow, for I am his white hot silver arrow. We make a perfect team, and I will to pierce the heart of Satan. And to do that, you read the Holy Bible. One will read the Holy Bible, but one will also come forward to give their testimony. So that's what I hope to give to all of you today. I do apologize, and I'm sorry for some of my other videos, which are not so great at times. But again, this is a form of healing and therapy and recovery for me. But it is also an outlet that Heavenly ABBA gave to me so I could fulfill the calling he has put upon my life. Excuse me, I'm going to take off my snow boots and try to get a little comfortable. And I'm sorry for the humming in the background. It's a little space heater. So, I fall under a lot of spiritual attacks, mostly from Satan and his minions. I fall under spiritual attacks from people astral traveling, astral projecting, remote viewing, and sending telepathic messages to me. I fall under spiritual attacks because other people allow Satan, and we all know that Satan is a title, but some people allow darkness and its minions to work through them. And I feel at times I've been belittled by other Christians. I feel that they think their salvation is better than mine, and they just hop onto my web pages to tell me all about how I'm wrong and they're right, and I need to listen to them. So I'm not going to speak to them. I'm going to speak to people that are trying to find their way to Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Yeshua HaMashiach, and that are trying to have a relationship with him. And to get to our one true living God and Creator, our Heavenly Abba, Heavenly Father. His personal name is YHVH. To get to him, we must go through Yeshua HaMashiach. So, to people that want to have God in their life, they want to have Jesus in their life, I hope this video gives them encouragement. And I hope this video brings them closer to their Creator. I hope to make my Heavenly Abba proud of me. But also, again, this is the favorite part of my testimony. I really do not enjoy talking about DOMs and super soldiers and MK Ultras and DID, but I definitely enjoy talking about our Savior and our Creator. So, all praise, glory, and worship to YHVH, our one true living God, in Yeshua HaMashiach's name, Selah. So, if I may fast forward through my testimony and share with you this part of it, as well as pictures, I'd be ever so grateful for your time. Okay. I even took notes. So I'm 44 years old. I was born September 12th, 1974. I served as an ex-super soldier for 37 years. The first 37 years of my life. When I was 40 years old, actually when I was 39, 38, 39 years old, so that would be about 2012, 2013, something in my soul, I got an urgency inside of my soul, and I started turning to God, Heavenly Abba. And I started to wake up. I was not only waking up from being an ex-super soldier and an ex-MK Ultra mind control slave from deep underground military bases, but I was waking up to Heavenly Abba calling me and the Holy Spirit tapping my shoulder. So at that point, and I'm fully disabled, I used to be on 33 prescriptions. When I felt this urgency in my soul come along, I was reminded that when I was 16 years old, I bought my first Bible and began to read it. First, I read Revelation, and then I read Genesis through Deuteronomy, and I kind of stopped reading it at that point. But when I began reading the Holy Bible on my own, I said to Heavenly Abba, I give you my word. In the last days and end times, when hell is about to break loose, I will do everything that I personally can to try to get everybody to turn to Jesus and talk to Jesus, and hopefully with the end result of getting saved, getting baptized, getting a freedom deliverance if they need one, which most of us do. I'll do everything in my power to serve you. And so if you fast forward if you fast forward to May of 2014, May 2014, I was brought up to Kennebunkport, Maine. It was my second time up there. And as you all know, George Bush Sr.'s vacation home is up there. However, I think George Bush Jr.'s living there as his home. So up in Kennebunkport, Maine, 2014, I brought my cat, Seva, and my dog, Keeper. And the house I stayed in, I felt like a princess. If you've ever been to Kennebunkport, Maine, those houses have 3, 4 levels to them. They have, I'm trying to find the words. In these houses up in Kennebunkport, Maine. I mean, imagine George Bush Sr. lived there. So these are beyond mansions. I mean, they have a level for their staff. So their staff has a place to cook food, eat, sleep, bathrooms, and it's on their own floor. The house I stayed in at that time, a friend had brought me up to it, and I felt very spoiled, and I was very grateful for even being given the opportunity. But the house I stayed in had approximately 10, 12 bedrooms. It had, 6, 7 bathrooms, 3 living rooms, 2 kitchens. And then on the top floor of the house, it had the staff's quarters. And the staff would have a kitchen, living room, a few bedrooms, and a couple bathrooms to themselves. And I'm an ex-super soldier, and one of my bosses was George Bush Sr. So just keep that in mind for the testimony I'm trying to present to you. At the time that I had gone up to Maine, I was not awake yet to being an ex-super soldier at all. No idea. But when I got up to Maine, something happened that rattled me. One day came, and I was up there with my friend, platonic friend, and 3 other sets of people, you know, other girlfriends and boyfriends, husbands and wives, and they brought their dogs. And so all of us were in the house. There was no staff serving us, but we went up in May, and I had decided to take my dog out for a walk. And I have rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia all through my body. I contracted it because of Lyme's disease, and ever since then, I've been fully disabled since the year of 2004. I was partially bedridden for about 3 years of that time. But anyway, let me stick to my testimony about Maine. One day came, and I wanted to take my dog Keeper out for a walk. And I brought her outside. Huge front yard. Huge. And because of my arthritis and the pain in my hands and stuff, I didn't fully close the door all the way. So the other dogs, owned by the other people that were staying there, because I made the mistake of not closing the door tightly enough, these other dogs ran out to the front yard where Keeper and I were playing, And now all of a sudden I got 2 more dogs that are playing with me and keep running around and all happy and just having fun. Well, the other people that were up there at the time, they came out to the front yard and started screaming at me. I was like, I'm really, really sorry, but my hands, I didn't grab the doorknob enough and turn it enough to close it all the way. I'm really sorry, but your dogs were with me. I'm watching them. You know, you have these hedges and bushes around the whole property. We were in the front yard. I was watching them. I'm really sorry that my hands hurt so bad. I thought the door was closed. It wasn't. I didn't tighten it. And let me tell you, these people ripped into me. Just ripped into me. So I got upset. I got really upset, and I took it to heart. And at that point, I ran inside. I grabbed Keeper's leash. I put on a couple warmer clothes, and I walked outside. I crossed the street to the beach, and on the beach, I was approximately like by car. If you were to drive from the place that I was staying in Kennebunkport, Maine, to George Bush Sr.'s vacation house, I was approximately 2-3 miles away, 4 at the most. So I was in a 2 to 4 mile radius. Anyway, I put some warmer clothes on. I grab my dog's leash. We go across the street. We go to the beach. And there is where I gave YHVH, my Heavenly ABBA Father, my covenant. I made a covenant with my Creator in Jesus Christ's name. I said, Heavenly ABBA, I know that Jesus died, resurrected, and ascended to my heaven. Ascended to heaven. He died for my sins, resurrected, and ascended to heaven, so that I too could be reconciled unto you. Heavenly Abba, I don't know Jesus that well, and I certainly don't know the Bible that well either. I know that something is wrong in the world. I would love to have 12 friends the way Jesus had 12 friends, because right now I don't have a friend in the world. And in my covenant to Abba, I said, you know what, Abba? You built the stars for me. I'm not going to be scared to sleep underneath them. And if these people in this house want to treat me like that and scream and flip out on me because I have arthritis in my hands and did not close the door that tightly, and their dogs came running out to play with me and my dog, if that's how I'm going to be treated, you know what, Abba? I'm going to sleep under the stars that you built for me. I don't want to sleep under the same roof as them. I went on to tell Abba at that time, I know something's wrong in the world. I can feel it. I don't know where to go, and I don't know where to turn. And at that time, hold on one moment. I have to copy some files because I'm going to start showing you guys pictures. And I will address my chat room at the end of the show. I love you guys, by the way. All right, paste. I got to get the other file. Documents. And, copy. Hold on, forgive me. Paste. This is going to be a long testimony too, I can tell you that much. So at that point, I'm outside with my dog keeper, and I'm giving my covenant to our one true living God and Creator. And I said a whole bunch of other things too. I was single at the time, so I said, Abba, I'm single, I'm not married, so I will stay celibate. But I'd sure love to have a husband, and if I did have a husband, it would be Julio, but we're not married. And at the time, him and I weren't even talking. We had been best friends for a long time at that point. So you know how friends go. You know, you talk to them a lot, and then you don't, and then you reunite, and then, you know, it's just how life goes. But I said to Abba, I'll give up all my prescription medications for you. Just please help me with it. I don't want to be on medications. I don't want the doctor's procedures. And I believe that your living logos still cures and heals to this day, just like it did back when you were walking the face of the earth, healing and curing people. I told God, I really want you for myself, and I want you in my life, and I love you. And can you please teach me more about Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach? And so I gave my covenant to Heavenly ABBA. And while I was out on that beach that day, this is the best part, share. I began taking selfies. Selfies. So allow me to explain these things to you. So I sat on the rock taking selfies. I took 13 pictures. I wasn't counting. It wasn't planned. It's just the way that it happened. But if I may explain to you my relationship with my Heavenly ABBA, I just want to tell you right now, thank you for your time and patience and courtesy for allowing me to do so. So I go sit on a rock. Can I make this any bigger? I don't know if you can see this, but in my sunglasses, the reflection. My hands are in front of me. I had an iPod at the time, and I start taking these pictures. This yellow thing that you see, that's a yellow ShopRite bag that I had tied onto Keeper's leash in case she went to the bathroom, and I'd have something to pick it up. So Heavenly ABBA blessed me, and he heard me cry out to him. How do I flip to the next picture? Can I? Probably not. That's a pain in the neck. All right, so I shoot off about 13 pictures. I get this one, and I get this one. This is how they came up on the roll. This is my second picture. My third picture. Doesn't that telephone pole remind you of the cross? I know I look like I'm smiling in the pictures, but really I'm gnashing my teeth. I was crying behind those sunglasses because of what had just happened. 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there's me trying to smile. Boy, I was very, very underweight at that time. 11. 11. Now, as a typical human, my lucky number used to be 3, but once I saw this 11th picture, 11 became my lucky number. 12. There's no raise, no nothing. 13. So when I saw these pictures, I was definitely set back. I'm going to tell you more about Kennebunkport, Maine, because I have pictures of things flying through the clouds. So that was May 17th, 2014, that Heavenly ABBA gave me those pictures. After, I think, about 4 hours, it started to get dark out, and I decided to go back inside to the house, and that's where everybody then told me, Holly, we're sorry we overreacted, and blah, 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 blah. So I decided that I'd be sleeping inside instead of outside on a rock underneath the stars where I just made my covenant to Abba. I was welcomed back in the house. While I was up there staying in this house, let me we've all fallen under spiritual attacks, right? Right. Let me go back to my notes. I'm going to show you pictures again. Now, also, there was another day that I was outside taking more selfies. Not to be vain, but I was taking more selfies. And I was outside enjoying myself. I hadn't been on vacation in a long time. I had just gotten out of a terribly abusive relationship where the Monmouth Police Department had to help me escape. So by the time I got up to this vacation, I really needed it, and I just enjoyed myself. But when I came back home, it was not until June that I really started to take an actual look at these pictures. And that's in June 2014 was when I saw the cross on my forehead. And I was just awestruck. But if you look at these clouds, to me, it looks like there's dragons flying through them. Like here, if you follow my cursor, there would be the tail. Here are the wings. There's the face. Over here where my hair is standing up, it looks like a hammerhead whale through the clouds. Now it looks like here's the wing, here's the body of the dragon, and here's his head. Now this was, I got to tell you about when I went up to George Bush Sr.'s vacation house too. See, it looks like there's these dragons and these whales, or dragons and a whale flying through the clouds. Look at that. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Look at that thing where my cursor is in the ray of the sun. See, look at these clouds. Look what is flying and looming over my head. This to me still looks like a dragon. That to me looks like some sort of whale. You have all these little bat-looking things. And still there's that blob right there. And then the sky kind of goes back to normal, except for the chemtrail behind me. Although there's still these strange looking things in the clouds. These photos were all taken one right after another. When where am I? Here I am. During this same vacation, I had taken a trip with my friend down the road a couple miles to George Bush Sr.'s vacation house. And I kid you not, I have a ton of pictures from Maine, but those are just a few. I came home with 800 pictures. So I had a lot. I'm kind of camera happy when I go on vacation. I take pictures of everything. But I had taken a trip up to George Bush Sr.'s vacation house. And when I looked at his house, the driveway was long, and then it went in front of the house. But it was very eerie looking. It was all gray and downcast. And it looked like those same dragons and things flying above my head in the clouds were circling above his house. He has a big, huge anchor at the end of the driveway. I have a picture of that too. But just very eerie and ominous looking. So while I stayed up there, I was actually hospitalized 2 times in about a 24-hour period for severe exhaustion to the point that my lips were turning blue. I have pictures of that too, but I don't have time to show all of you 800 pictures. Otherwise, I would. But what happened was when I was staying in that house, I remember specifically one night I was downstairs in the one living room, or the dining room, rather, because there were 3 living rooms, but I was in the dining room and a huge dining room table. And to my left, the room opened up and it kind of looked like an atrium where it had all these windows and chairs seated in front facing the window, rocking chairs, another coffee table and everything. And I was sitting down there late at night writing poetry. My cat and dog were with me. Everybody else in the house is asleep. And I'm sitting there. And I had noticed my cat had come down the stairs and she was rubbing on my leg and running around and stuff like that. And I continued writing on with my poetry, or going on writing my poetry. I see the rocking chair over by all these windows start rocking. And I look over and I see this little white face. And I'm thinking, come on, Sava, knock it off. You know, she's probably jumping on the furniture. They're not going to like that. Knock it off. So I walk over, I get her down, and she goes away. So again, I continue on writing my poetry. I see the rocking chair start rocking again shortly thereafter, and I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I'll just let her have fun. The rocking chair then stops. So I think my cat jumped off, and I keep writing. Then I see the rocking chair start rocking again. And I mean, it's rocking. It's not just a little shimmy like a cat jumping on it. It's rocking back and forth. So this is when I take note. Still thinking that it's my cat having fun. And then all of a sudden the chair stops again. So I keep writing. Well, this rocking chair starts going back and forth again. And I mean, it's swinging from end to end to end to end to end. I'm like, that's it, Seva. I put down my pen and paper. I walk over. I get up from the dining room table. I walk over and I look down at this rocking chair swinging back and forth. And my cat's not sitting in it. All of a sudden, the rocking chair comes to a dead halt and stops. I look back to the dining room table and I'm looking on the floor. My dog is gone. My cat and dog aren't even in the room with me. Where'd they go? I'm thinking to myself. So I go charging away from this rocking chair. Now, mind you, I just made my covenant to YHVH, our Heavenly ABBA, Father, one true living God and Creator, through the blood of the Lamb, Jesus Christ. And I had a small amount of knowledge, not much. I had no knowledge of spiritual warfare or anything that I was up against. I wasn't even awake to MK Ultra yet, or that I had been used in those projects in deep underground military bases. Anyway, I go charging away from the rocking chair, past the dining room table, through the one kitchen, all the way up the stairs. I go running into my bedroom, and there's my cat and dog sitting on the bed. I thought, oh no, I got to go back downstairs and turn off the lights. Phooey on that. I stayed up in the room with my cat and dog. So I got past that night. Every time, the strange thing is I believe that Heavenly ABBA gave me spirit eyes. And what I mean by that is there were times that I was walking through this house, and I was up there for well over a week, over 7 days. I think I was there for 9 or 10 days. And every time I'd go walking past certain rooms, out of the corner of my eye, I'd see something standing there. When I addressed this with my friend who brought me up there, I was like, listen, you know, I go walking past this one bedroom, I go walking past this other dining room, and there's like some grayish white looking being standing there. And I'm not getting a good feeling from it. So this kid Stu turns around and says, oh, Holly, don't worry. That's my dead mother. I'm like, excuse me, Stu, what? Oh, well, my mother loved this house so much that when she died, I think that she still comes to this house and hangs out at the one dining room table, smoking a cigarette. She just loved it up here. Holly, you know, back in the day, in the 50s and 60s or 70s, whatever, forget what he specifically said to me, but something to that effect. Well, back in that day, all of these people would come up here and fill the bedrooms, different couples, different people. They'd rent out the house. You know, there's staff quarters up on the 3rd floor, and there was staff here. But they used to throw parties. Holly, it's those dead people here in the house that come back to the house because they miss it and they enjoy the parties. I said, Stu, I'm sorry to tell you, but with my spirit eyes, what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling, that's pure evil. Oh, no. Nobody ever wants to listen to Holly. So I didn't push it with them. I just left it at that. And again, I was still wet behind the ears in 2014. Still a new believer, still trying to wake up, still trying to get right. And it's going to be a long video. I'll tell you that right now. So while I was up there, there was this one night I remember looking out the window of my bedroom. I had my cat and dog with me. I had the door closed, and I was trying to take pictures because there was a blood red moon. But the strangest thing is when I kept taking a picture of it out of my iPod camera at the time, the moon would come out white on my camera, but it was blood red when I looked at it. Strangest thing. Well, as my vacation progressed on, there came a few nights, and this was right before I was hospitalized 2 times for exhaustion. There were a couple of nights. On one of these nights, I'm in my bedroom, and I'm trying to go to sleep, and my cat and dog are with me. Everybody else is in their bedrooms and, all across the hall, but they're doing their own thing. And I'm trying to get to sleep, and I just keep feeling something crawl on me, like a spider or a bed bug or maybe a piece of hair when somebody goes like this to you, trying to tickle you. And I was like, just stop. I feel on this one particular night, I feel something sit down on the bed, lean over to me, and I feel its breath, like on the back of my neck and on my cheek. I feel its breath. And then I feel, talk about being sketched out of my mind. Jump out of bed. Okay, God, I'm new to all this, but that's a demon. I know it has to listen to your name, and Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I get back in bed. Again, I feel somebody, it feels like a person comes up again and sits down in the bed next to me. And now it's doing one of those, like taking their fingers and walking up my arm. Jump out of bed again, turn on the light, there's nothing there. Jesus, 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 stop this. Stop. Make it stop. Please, Jesus, make it stop. Now, at this point, the lights are being left on. I'm already scared of the dark. I leave the lights on. Again, I'm back in bed, and it feels like a human comes and lays back down in the bed with me and starts doing that thing to me and playing with my hair and breathing on me and touching me. And I look over. I kid you not. I saw the indent of the bed, like somebody was literally laying there, like an invisible person was laying in the bed. And that was it for me. I stayed up all night. I'm like, I know, I'm thinking to myself and even saying out loud, I know these things have to listen to Jesus' name. What's going on? I had no idea about spiritual warfare because, again, I just found God and just made my covenant with him. And the next night comes. I'm going to digress a moment. Since May 17th, 2014, I have listened to Russ Dizdar, and he talks a lot about people astral traveling, astral projecting, remote viewing, and sending you telepathic messages. And when they do that, that person can wreak just as much havoc on you as the two demons they're using to bring them there into your room. So anyway, the second night comes. The same thing is happening to me. I can't sleep. These things, or whatever it was, or whoever the person was, is playing with my hair, breathing on me, touching me. I mean, I would stand in front of the mirror and get dressed in the morning, and this thing would touch my back and touch my clothes. I'd feel it pulling on me. Well, lo and behold, shortly thereafter, I couldn't take anymore. My head's in the toilet. I can't stop vomiting. I can't stop vomiting. It's, 24 hours turns into 30 hours. My lips are turning blue. I get rushed to the hospital. And the doctor says you have exhaustion. So I come back home. I go back to the vacation house up in Kennebunkport, Maine, and I kid you not, within under 24 hours, I'm rushed right back because now I'm vomiting all over again. It's not stopping. These hauntings, these attacks keep happening, and I'm getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. I like physically sicker. I mean, for my lips to turn blue, something's wrong. For anyone's lips to turn blue, something is definitely wrong. And a couple days later, we had finally gone home, and I kept my dog and cat with me the whole time. I just kept them in my arms. I kept them on the bed. I kept them in the same room. I wouldn't let them go anywhere without me. I figured if I was falling under spiritual attack, so were they. Forgive me for jumping around, but I guess I should have known that something was brutally wrong, because the very first night that Stu had brought me up there to Kennebunkport, Maine, before everybody else, all the other families arrived the next day, Stu and I had walked across the street onto the beach, and we were standing on top of the rocks. It's very rocky. Let me show you pictures. But let me tell you the story first. I'll find the pictures. We're standing on top of the rocks, and we look out into the ocean. And where'd it go? Where are these pictures so I can show you the rocks that I'm talking about? And that way you'll have a visual for the story. I just downloaded them. It's not there. Do I still have that post up on Google? Hang on, guys, 1 second. Bear with me, because I want to give you a visual for this so you can imagine it. I don't know if if any of you have been to Kennebunkport, Maine, but Yes. Okay, good. I got them. Yay. Okay, here we go. And excuse me for these pictures, but all right. So, all right, you see this? These are the rocks along the shore. Here I am goofing off, of course. Hark, who goes there? They're pretty sharp and steep rocks. But over here, where you see this water, is right where the ocean comes in. So, like right here is a road. These houses are on the opposite side of the road. And on the opposite side of the houses is the ocean still. The place I stayed was kind of back here. The road is there and it kind of loops around and comes down that way if you follow my cursor. But anyway, the first night that I had gotten there, Stu and I go walk across the street, go out to the ocean, and while we're looking at the ocean, we're standing on these rocks. I stopped sharing, I think so. We're looking at these rocks and we're standing on top of the rocks looking out at the ocean, and the waves are crashing on the rocks. And we see these big green orbs inside the water. There must have been 10, 15 of these big orbs, and they're swirling all around each other. And I'm looking at them, and I see Stu get off the rock and start walking to the water's edge. I'm like, oh, wait a second. Stop, stop, stop. I don't know anything, but you don't want to do that. Stay away from those green orbs. Don't go by that water. He's like, oh, it's probably a mermaid or something. I'm going to go see. I'm like, don't do it. Just get back up here. We're going inside. I've had enough. But these big green bright orbs are inside the water, just swimming all around each other. So I don't know. I wouldn't advise anybody to go on vacation to Kennebunkport, Maine, unless you have your full armor on. Not to be a jerk or rude or mean, but yeah. So again, I will address my chat at the end of the show. Would all of you mind if we took a few minute break? There's still some more I want to talk to you about. So I'd say this is probably halfway through my testimony, the half that I like to give. And I want to thank my 14 viewers for giving me your time and hanging out with me. I love you guys, and thank you, thank you. You've really blessed me, and I really love you guys. But let's take a couple minute long break so I can check on my dog. My cat's asleep on the bed, but I'd like to know where my dog is. So how about we come back in 2 minutes, please? excuse my room for being a mess, but if you would like to meet Keeper and Seva, I have them together here at one time. Oh, wait. Stop sharing. There you go. Hey, stop licking. Seva. Oh, I love you girls. You're so pretty. So there's Seva. Well, there's Keeper. Wait, how do I do this? That's Seva. So anyway, now I understand in the Holy Bible that we are never to test our God. We can test spirits, but never test your God. Remember back at the beginning of my testimony, I had mentioned how on the 11th picture I received God's seal upon my forehead. So now my lucky number with my Heavenly ABBA is 11. It's just that I have a heart after him, and everything that I do with him is special to me. And so one day came and I said to Heavenly ABBA, Abba, I'm not doubting you, but you know, that picture that you gave to me, the 12 pictures that you gave to me are really special and they mean something to me. And, you know, I'm struck by them. But Abba, by any chance, was that a fluke? You know, am I misreading things, misinterpreting things? Please, Abba, all I want is you. And would you mind, if I may ask, can you give me another sign and let me know that these pictures are in fact from you? So that was, you know, so we're going from May 2014 forward. And December 2014 rolled around, and I woke up to being the fact that I am an ex-super soldier, a survivor of MK Ultra projects from deep underground military bases. And that was a heavy load for me to handle. I lost my speaking abilities for a good 9 months. My attorney, who was my father figure, is now deceased. He took me into his home for 6 of those 9 months. And we would read Holy Bible verses together. He helped me to get speaking again. So December 12th, 2014, and this is another story I'm going to tell you, all of you, just not right now because it's an in-depth story and I'm trying to stay focused on one topic here. December 5th, 2014, I went stumbling into, well, not stumbling, I'd have to say that I met some online ministries. And because I saw Yeshua's living light shining through them, I thought, Holly, you need to reach out to them and connect to someone. You're going through something pretty big, and just reach out to these people. So I reached out to a few online ministries, and I really don't like using people's names because I don't want to disrespect their privacy or disrespect them, but they had a big impact, a very good impact on my life. If I may, Anita Fuentes, Nikki Pratt, Trey Smith, and Jonathan Kahn. At that time, from May until about September. September is when I met those ministries online. And December 5th, I went and sought out Jonathan Kahn. Originally, I was going to ask him to baptize me to Yeshua HaMashiach. But when I entered into his ministry in Lodi, New Jersey, I just was beside myself with happiness. If you ever listen to him, he draws you closer to Heavenly ABBA. He makes you feel that Heavenly ABBA is reachable and obtainable, and you can have him for yourself and in your life, just like Jonathan, has in his. And it was inspiring and encouraging, and it showed through these 4 ministries, it showed to me that Abba loves me too. And I had never known Abba to be so warm and loving. In the past, I had churches just bash me left and right and make me think that I'd have to go to that church to have God and to do God's will. And to be a pew warmer, basically. They never taught me to have an intimate, active relationship with God the way these other 4 ministries had been doing. But when I found out some of my testimony, and he laid his hands on me and prayed over me, and he said I was a blessing. I had not heard such love and been shown such kindness like what he gave to me since my grandparents were alive. So I was 40 years old at the time, or I just turned 40 years old, and he invited me to come back the following week for the Festival of Lights, and I went back December 12th, 2014, and Meek Khan, he is a Messianic rabbi. He began talking about the mysteries of the bridegroom feast. He began talking about the Jewish tradition of marriage. And I had seen it previously on YouTube.com, but those videos were taken down. Although I have his CD, Jonathan Kahn's CD, so I can rewatch it. But he did that sermon December 12th, 2014, and well, it doesn't fit now, but I used to wear this ring on this hand. I remember when I bought this ring for $100 from Zales, the lady and the guy in the jewelry store were laughing at me. But anyway, I had worn this ring for a while. See, there's my heart. There's 3 diamonds in my heart. One for Abba, one for Yeshua, one for the Holy Spirit. The 2 blue diamond chips on the side is Seva, my cat, Keeper, my dog, and that's my covenant to YHVH. But anyway, I don't mean to digress. Can you see me? So December 12th, 2014, when I went back for the Festival of Lights, my camera doesn't want to work with me right now. Come on. Now it's all blurry. Look at that. Are you kidding me? Satan, I cast you down in Yeshua's name. Just give me my camera back. There we go. So anyway, I fell in love with the ring, and I had bought it, but I used to wear it on that hand. Doesn't fit anymore. But December 12, 2014, at Jonathan Cahn's, when he did the bridegroom sermon, and he was talking about that, I seized that opportunity and made that my opportunity to marry Yeshua HaMashiach. And at that point, I took this ring off my right hand and I put it on my left hand, and I thought to myself, okay, Yeshua, I want to know you better, and you're a perfect man, and I want a perfect man in my life. I need you. I want you. I love you. Please accept me. And I married Yeshua. Shortly right after that, okay, this story I'm trying not to get into because there's a lot of other details and stuff that I went through. But I ended up going into the hospital December 20th through December 26th of 2014. The hospital told me to stay away from my online ministries at that point. And when I came out of the hospital, I thought to myself, wow, they don't want me to read my Holy Bible. They don't want me to have my online ministry. They're telling me to stay away from God. I'm not doing that. I think they're wrong, and I'm not going to listen to them. I'll get into that whole part of my testimony on a different part, on a different video episode, if you don't mind. I hope I'm making sense, because I feel like I'm not. Shortly thereafter, I came out of the hospital December 26th. So starting December 26th going forward, all of the dreams and visions that Heavenly ABBA was giving to me, I began drawing. He had been giving me dreams and visions since 2012, 2013, 2014, and they continued on to 2015, 2016, and 2017. So I started drawing everything. Some of the things that I was remembering were super soldier memories, super soldier recalls, and I began drawing them too. Again, I had problems speaking. So at that point, because again, in December was when I woke up from being an ex-super soldier, but also having a calling upon my life from Heavenly ABBA. But I bumped into Russ Dizdar online. I bumped into his ministry online, and I began listening. And I was completely floored and so grateful that a ministry such as his was speaking about super soldiers, transhumanism, MK Ultra programming. He was discussing the taboo topics that churches don't talk about, and that many people have no idea about. They might say they understand, but really they don't. And you can tell they don't by the comments they give you back. So I began drawing things, and I kept saying, Abba, I'm not testing you, but can you just reconfirm somehow to me that that seal upon my forehead in that picture that I feel you gave me is true? You know, on the 11th picture of that roll came that cross on my forehead. Would you mind reconfirming to me that it's true and that's you? So, and not to test Abba, but I was really seeking him and asking him and knocking on his door. Well, April 2015 came around, and Russ Dizdar, L.A. Marzulli, Doug Hemp, and I forget how to pronounce his first name, but it's M. Cohen from Israel, and John Ben John all did a 5-day conference at Mountaintop Church. And when I found out that Doug Hemp, L.A. Marzulli, and Russ Dizdar were doing a conference, I called up my attorney and father figure and I said, excuse me, I got to go to this. I really got to make sure I get there. Can you please help to make sure I get there? And I could barely talk at the time. And my attorney actually bought the tickets and accompanied me. And I was very grateful for that because it was definitely a pivotal point in my life. So, and I was also receiving a lot of dreams and visions from Heavenly ABBA. And I felt that I should draw them. And I had so much locked up in my head, I wanted to also get it out. So that's when I took up my Crayola crayons and started drawing. So that was, I think, I have copies of the ticket on my computer, but the conference they held at Mountaintop, my attorney and I got tickets too. And when I got to that conference, I brought my dream book with them. And I showed Russ Dizdar and the SIIU team my dream book. I showed Doug Hemp. I showed L.A. Marzulli. Although L.A. Marzulli I had a tough time talking to. So my attorney kind of spoke for me because, like I said, I lost my actual speaking abilities. But I showed up at that conference, and that's where I confessed to them that I was an ex-super soldier from deep underground military bases. I come from Project Ibis. I recalled Joseph Mengele and a whole bunch of other things. And because of what Russ and the SIIU team would discuss, that is why I came there, and I'm seeking help. And I want to know that I'm okay and that everything's all right and everything's going to be all right. So if you look at my profile picture with Abba's cross upon my forehead, that was the 11th picture on the roll. That was May 17th, 2014. Fast forward 11 months later, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. April comes along, and here's Russ Dizdar, L.A. Marzulli, and Doug Hemp. Oh, I love Doug Hemp. He's great. They do a conference 11 months later. Here we go back to the pictures. This, okay, like I said, I was drawing my dreams and visions, and in one of those dreams and visions that I had drawn back in January to March 2015, I had this dream that I was brought inside a cave, and there were 3 people with me. We walked inside this cave, Here's living waters. This is like the opening of the cave. These are boulders and rocks at the beginning. These are the lights that were inside the cave. Outside was a bunch of trees and bushes. These are 3 demonic spirits, principalities, entities, powers of darkness. But in the dream, 3 people and I walked into this cave, and they said, Holly, go inside. So I went inside, and while I was inside this cave, I see these demonic forces flee and run out of the cage. And I distinctly remember the lights on the inside of the cave. And when I came back to the opening of the cave, I looked at these 3 people, and I knew that everything was fine and safe for me. If you go to my church, Mountaintop, this is what it looks like on the inside. It's dark, kind of looks like a cave. Let me see, sorry. And these are the lights on the wall. You see the rock? It's dimly lit. It looks like a cave. I had a dream, and I just showed you the drawing of the dream, but also what I need to mention is in that dream, an angel had come to me and said, Holly, when you see this place, when you see X marks the spot, you can stop running now. You are home. While I was at this 5-day conference, I showed Russ Dizdar and the SIIU team my drawing. Even my attorney was baffled because of the dream and how the church looked, and it was obvious that Abba was calling me home, calling me to him. I was walking around the church taking pictures of it, and on the piano, I used to own a piano. The sun was shining through the skylight of the church, and on the piano where it sat was an X that marks the spot. So I can stop running. I'm home now. Abba has called me. Now it's a blurry picture, forgive me, but John Ben John, my pastor. This guy here is L.A. Marzulli, Doug Hemp, Russ Dizdar. So, to me, that was Abba confirming to me that this is not a joke. This is really him, and he really heard me. He really heard me and listened to me. Why he would ever save a wretch like me is beyond me. But boy, am I grateful that he would have me and love me and want to listen to me and accept me and not turn me away. And I'm going to have faith that he will never abandon me, no matter what spiritual attack I undergo, and no matter what church ministry brothers and sisters have to say, no matter what this world that's fallen has to say. I will always have faith that God will never take that back from me, and that he means it. So for anyone out there, I'd like to say that there's No coincidences. Abba is always trying to reach you. He gives you signs. Don't doubt them. Don't let anything discourage you from him. And I hope that my testimony encourages all of you who may be new believers or maybe someone that is asking and seeking and searching for God to keep doing so. Um, and for all of the current believers that have had God in their life all their life, may you know that he loves you, and may this encourage you too. And for all the current believers, may you know that Abba loves you and he's still with you. See, I'm ordained, but I'm not really a preacher or a teacher or a minister. I'm not good at all of that stuff. Uh, Many of you can run circles around me because you have the Holy Bible memorized, where I still read it and do not have it memorized. But see, when I got ordained August 11th, 2018 at a Hear the Watchman conference, it is because that's something that I wanted to strive for with Heavenly ABBA and do with him. My spiritual gifts are from him. They're not from this world. I am of him and just stuck living in this world. And when he taps my shoulder, I will be ready to be a vessel for him to use and utilize and work through. In Yeshua HaMashiach's name, Selah. And we all have different callings. We all have different pieces of the puzzle that we carry for him. Yeshua HaMashiach is our center. Each piece of the puzzle that I and my other brothers and sisters carry, put all together, make a beautiful picture. And Abba is the frame of that masterpiece. I hope I explained myself right, and probably messed that up too, but I just hope that my testimony can go to inspire and encourage other people, ignite that passion and thirst we all have to be close to him and read his Bible and speak to others about it and lead them to him. When I first started out this morning, I was going to make a video about marriage and about some of the things my husband Julio and I have been through. But by the time it came to running the video, everything changed, and Abba gave me this to talk about. And I'm honored and grateful. And thank you all for your time. I know many, many, many of you have heard this story before because, like I said, I've been online since 2014. And I just pray that this time, the third time I give you this testimony, I'm more groomed and more refined to articulate myself in a better manner than I was before in the past. All right. I'm going to say a prayer, and then if you all don't mind, I'm going to check in on my chat room. Heavenly YHVH, our Father who art in heaven, thank you for this time that we get to share with each other. Thank you for the opportunity for being able to share our testimonies and our time and our love and our patience with one another. Thank you for drawing us closer to you. Heavenly Abba, I pray against the darkness that surrounds my loved ones, and I cast it to the foot of the cross in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. I close all demon doors in Yeshua's name. No demons may be conjured in, and no demons may jump in Yeshua's name. I cast all demons out in Yeshua's name. Any person that is trying to astral travel, astral project, remote view, and send telepathic messages to my loved ones, I stand in the gap and I pray to cast the two demons to the foot of the cross they are using to do so. And I ask you, Heavenly Abba, to send down your warring angels and Yeshua HaMashiach to escort that person out of our homes, off our properties, and away from us in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Heavenly Abba, I repent for my sins, and I will continue to try to live my life according to the Holy Bible. And even though I stumble and fall, thank you for picking me up and never abandoning me. Heavenly Abba, thank you for the loved ones that you have put in my life, because without them I would be completely lost. In Yeshua's name. Heavenly Abba, I give you all praise, glory, worship, and honor in Yeshua's name. Thank you for your Son, our Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach. Heavenly Abba, I ask that the Holy Spirit burn inside of our souls and around us, and that we shine the light that Yeshua HaMashiach has given us. I pray we shine it to the darkness, and I pray that we are able to expose the darkness in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. I pray that your Holy Spirit fill and overflow us with your power, love, and authority in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. I pray that you bless and baptize us in the Holy Spirit in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Thank you for this time, Heavenly Abba, that you have given me and the tools that you have given me to use to be able to do so. I'm not so good as a street preacher, but hopefully I can do some good on YouTube, and may it reach some people that are really seeking you. I pray they're not discouraged. I pray they get off the fence and turn to you in Yeshua's name. Selah. So where's my chat room? Oh my goodness, look at all my lovely friends. I love you. Kendra, good morning, honey. Pete Rodriguez, Amos, Candace, Marcy. Marcy, thank you for that song last night. That song really hit the spot. Hi, singer girly, Jill. Buena Vides. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Welcome. Hi, Casey. Singer girly, I agree. And God bless you. There is definitely something wrong with this world. But remember, whereof YHVH, we just have to live in this world. We're not of it, and we don't take part of it. Candace, how are you? I got to give out some more wrenches. Stephanie Dove. Thank you, Stephanie. That means a lot. Hey, Jeff, it's been a long time, my brother. I love you. Sand and Sunaholic. Please send some sun this way. I'll take the sand too. We need it. It's nothing but ice outside. Jax, welcome. ECWN WWF. Aw, Jax, thank you. You guys are so sweet. Like, you guys are the best part of me. I'm so grateful that Heavenly ABBA gave you to me. Honored and humbled that he put you guys in my life. Because what I had in my life was old, broken down, and dark. But not anymore. We're all new creatures in Yeshua's name. Hey, Lou Girly, I love you. I have colored pencils too, Amos, excuse me. And I have glitter and paints. Yeah. Amber Falwell, how are you, sweetheart? Oh, thank you so much. You guys are so great. Thank you for your time. I hope I didn't bore you too much. And thanks for allowing me to give you my testimony. And happy President's Day to Mr. President Donald J. Trump. Sir, I like him. I don't remember him ever being in a dumb, like when I was in a dumb. As far as our ex-presidents, there was George Bush Sr. Oh, there was a few of them there. Barry Obama. But Mr. President Donald J. Trump, he wasn't there. From my recalled memories, he was never a part of those MK Ultra projects that were forced upon us. So that's why I like and support him. So I hope he has a very nice, happy President's Day. God bless our president. Yay. Hey, Addie, sweetie pie, how are you? I love you. Oh, Daria Luba Burbilo. Welcome, sweetheart. I love you, and Yeshua blessings to you too. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go, and thank you so much for your time. Have a beautiful and blessed President's Day. I'll see you guys very soon, okay?